The aging face is characterized by two major components: the aging skin and the aging facial shape. For almost a century, we were concentrated on the aging skin with cosmetic brands like Helena Rubinstein or Elizabeth Arden and later L'Oreal, and we tried to improve that facial skin. Later we went to use peelings and lasers. By now, 2022, we know exactly how to deal with the aging skin and to get a quasi-flawless skin. No blemishes, a nice complexion, a smooth surface without wrinkles, an excellent radiance, and a nice glow. But the main concern is the aging facial shape. And that brings us into a lot of complexity to understand that. We started by injecting collagen, injecting hyaluronic acid, even injecting fat, understanding that the skin needs more volume. Then we said we're losing fat, so let's correct the fat with hyaluronic acid or with injections of our own fat. And slowly and gradually we thought that by filling up the face, we'll get a nice, youthful facial shape. But that's not the case at all. We see that while we age, we lose other things. And we didn't know what we lost till we started thinking. When we see a patient with half of the face paralyzed, which is called Bell palsy, we see one side dropping down and the other side is perfectly upright. That's when we understood that it's not the skin, because the skin on both sides is the same age. The facial fat on both sides is exactly the same, so it must be the muscles. And by chance, because one of my close relatives is a radiologist and has a CT scan in his clinic, we're starting to make sections of the skull and the face and see what's going on underneath in terms of facial volume. And the discovery was very astonishing. We saw an atrophy, a resorption, a reduction of the facial muscles by more than 50% over the years. And as a consequence of that, a loss of bone, because the muscle pulls on the bone and keeps the bone alive. So we got loss of volume of the muscle and loss of bone, and this is what gives us the real aging face, bony loss. I went recently to see a movie with George Clooney and his co-star Julia Roberts. And what you see is that despite his age, and they're practically both the same age, George Clooney kept his bony structure, while Julia Roberts is losing a bit of the bony structure, and you can see that aging face compared to her former pictures like Erin Brockovich or others, where the skin is exactly the same, flawless skin, but the bony structure changed a lot. So, what do we have to do to correct that facial shape? In first instance, we have to work on the muscles. The muscles will pull on the bone and the bone will restructure himself. And when we get more volume of the muscles, we get more volume of the face, and more volume of the bone, more volume of the face. In a second instance, we lose also muscular tone, which means the strength of the muscles to lift our face upwards. So not only volume, but lifting of the face upwards happens through the muscle. And finally, after every contraction, we see that the muscle of a baby relaxes, while the muscle of an adult person stays in a contraction. So exactly like with the body, we need to build muscles with age, and we need to stretch them and relax them. And this we do for the face with the biofeedback stimulation, because the biofeedback loop that connects the brain to the muscle through long nerves that go from the brain to the muscle, they degenerate with time. Restoring these nerves reconnects the brain with the muscle, restores the youthfulness of the muscle, gives us back the volume of the muscle and the bone, gives us the upward tilt of the face through a muscular tone, and relaxes well after each contraction and gets us rid of these expression lines. So a new insight in aging and aging of the facial shape is to understand better what happens with the muscles and what happens with their connections to the brain. Thank you.